Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to episode 31 of Young Justice Beneath. We begin this episode in El Paso on February 18th, where Tye Longshadow, voiced by Greg Rainwater, is on his way to a bus stop in the middle of the night. He calls his best friend Jaime Reyes, unaware of the fact that his best friend is the current Blue Beetle, to tell him goodbye because he intends to take the next bus to Houston because he's done dealing with his mother's boyfriend, Maurice. Blue Beetle tries to urge his friend not to make any drastic decisions and says that he intends to go to the bus stop to talk to him and urging him to wait for him to arrive so they can talk. But Tye says he makes no promises. While Blue Beetle is on his way to the bus stop, someone has captured Tye, and Blue Beetle hears that the bus to Houston has just left by the time he's arrived at the bus stop. The next scene takes us to Karak on February 19th, where we see a group of members of the Young Justice team are on their way to their next mission. The members for this mission are Miss Martian, Batgirl, Wonder Girl, and Bumblebee. They're being briefed on their current mission by Nightwing through video chat, essentially. Nightwing explains that they believe that the alien bomb from the episode Alienated might have arrived on Earth through a boom tube portal, and Bialya has a lot of boom tube activity lately. So they're being sent to Bialya to see if there's a connection to the alien bomb. He also mentions that the latest updates regarding Simon, Queen Bee's assistant or second in command, is that, the latest updates indicate that Simon hasn't recovered from the events of the episode Image. So the next scene actually takes us to back with Blue Beetle, who goes to visit Tye's mother to see if she knows where Tye might be, explaining about the phone call he received. But he also found out that no one bought a ticket for the bus to Houston that Tye was supposed to, or that the bus that Tye intended to ride on the way to Houston, he didn't get a ticket, and no one else got a ticket at that particular time for that matter. And Tye's mother thinks that Tye was just frustrated because Tye and Maurice had a disagreement last night. Maurice ends up showing up. Maurice arrives, and we see that he's a very antagonistic individual, to say the least. And Blue Beetle suspects that Maurice may have something to do with Tye's disappearance. And I should mention this, throughout the course of the episode, we do get occasional scenes that show us Blue Beetle investigating Tye's disappearance. But I'll go ahead and mention the highlights of that right now so the rest of the recap can focus on the main plot of the episode. So for the other parts of Blue Beetle's investigation, Tye's mother thinks that maybe Tye went to see his grandfather. So Blue Beetle goes to see Tye's grandfather. And Tye's grandpa admits that he hasn't seen Tye in a few weeks, but he believes that Tye may be on a journey to discover his destiny, and he doesn't think that Maurice has anything to do with Tye's journey, or Blue Beetle's journey for that matter. By the end of the investigation, Blue Beetle finds Maurice has a shed that he's locked up, and he thinks that maybe Tye is inside the shed. And after he fights Maurice while trying to prevent the Scarab from using more extreme methods to fight, Blue Beetle discovers that the shed actually just has pirated DVDs and pirated games in it. And Maurice admits that he doesn't know what happened to Tye, but he doesn't care what happened to Tye all the same. And Blue Beetle and the Scarab both agree that Maurice is actually telling the truth. But Blue Beetle still intends to report Maurice for the pirated games and pirated DVDs so that he still will pay the consequences for his actions. So now that the subplot's been discussed, we can focus on the main plot of the episode. So it's Bialya, we're in Bialya on February 20th, and the Young Justice team members for this mission are preparing to enter a hangar. Wonder Girl is tasked with staying on lookout. Wonder Girl is to be the lookout for the mission, while the other three members of the Young Justice team go inside the hangar to investigate what they can. They can't use their comm links because the Bialyan soldiers have the equipment to figure out if they're using their comm links, so they have to rely on the telepathic link that Miss Martian set up. While Wonder Girl is on lookout, she notices a truck showing up, and inside the truck are several other villains. We have Mammoth, Shimmer, Icicle Jr., Devastation, and much to Wonder Girl's surprise, Simon, who has recovered after the events of Image. Wonder Girl realizes that she needs to warn her teammates of Simon's arrival, but she can't use the telepathic link because Simon, being a telepath himself, could hear them. So, using stealth, Wonder Girl manages to find Miss Martian and warns her non-verbally. So, not through the telepathic link and not verbally, she warns Miss Martian of Simon's arrival. So Miss Martian turns off the telepathic link, and she says that she and Wonder Girl should split up to let their two other teammates know about this. And she praises Wonder Girl for doing a good job of catching Simon and warning her about it so that they wouldn't have to worry about him overhearing them through their telepathic link. Unfortunately, Devastation sees Wonder Girl while she's trying to reach one of the teammates, and she does confront her. And Devastation also orders a lockdown for the hangar that they're all in. But Wonder Girl and Miss Martian do manage to escape. Batgirl and Bumblebee, on the other hand, they don't escape, and they're trapped in the vents for now. Although they do manage to find an exit, but it leads them to an ancient cave or cavern, one that they believe is over thousands of years old. But they also notice that some of the villains have also set up a base within this cave. And while they investigate further, they do happen to see that there are several containers that actually have teenagers in them. And unfortunately, though, Simon does catch Batgirl and he knocks her out with a brain blast. And he actually intends to send Batgirl, or they put Batgirl in a container to have her sent off wherever these other captured teenagers are going to be sent off. Icicle Jr. thinks this is a bad idea because Batgirl is actually someone that people will notice is missing, unlike the other teenagers they've captured who are just runaways apparently. But Simon points out that Batman is not on Earth right now, and he's not really concerned about any other people that might miss Batgirl. So Bumblebee, though, thanks to her ability to shrink in size, Bumblebee wasn't. They didn't find out about Bumblebee, and she was able to overhear the bad guys what they were talking about. So she's able to escape, and she reaches Miss Martian and Wonder Girl to warn them about what's happened to Batgirl. And so they all come up with a plan to sneak into the cave so they can save Batgirl and the other captured teenagers. Miss Martian manages to knock out Shimmer and disguise herself as Shimmer to close up the doors to the that the plane was going to fly out of to reach wherever it is they were going to bring the captured teenagers. And Simon soon figures out that Shimmer is really Miss Martian in disguise, and he's understandably uneasy that Miss Martian wants to have a rematch with him. He does, however, manage to telepathically warn his comrades about Miss Martian engaging him in a psychic battle. And even though Icicle Jr. responds that Simon hasn't had the best track record when it comes to beating Miss Martian in these psychic battles. He hasn't won these battles for the most part, but Simon responds he doesn't have to win. He just needs to distract Miss Martian in the psychic plane while they take care of her in the physical plane. But because the plane Bumblebee does manage to sneak onto the plane, and she frees and awakens Batgirl so that they can get the plane to safety. So Devastation and Mammoth try to take care of the they try to take care of the plane, Batgirl. Yeah, they try to deal with Batgirl on the plane while Icicle Jr. will take care of Miss Martian in the physical plane while Simon deals with her in the psychic plane. But Bumblebee manages to distract Simon so that the plan can't go through, and she manages to stop Icicle Jr. as well. So, and Wonder Girl is helping Batgirl out. Wonder Girl is fighting off Devastation and Mammoth, and with the bad guys defeated, the Young Justice team members present do work together, and they successfully stop the plane from crashing, and they do manage to free the runaways that were put onto the plane. We then cut to Mount Justice, where they find out that Nightwing admits that it turns out that Simon had apparently recovered months ago, but he placed some mental suggestions in the doctors and nurses tending to him. He placed mental suggestions in their heads that made them think that they were still tending to him, but really they were tending to an empty bed. And he apologizes that he wasn't aware of Simon's recovery. But Miss Martian responds that it was bound to happen sooner or later. And they found out that the teenagers that were kidnapped were all runaways, but all of these kidnappings happened after the Krolataeans were eliminated by the bomb from the episode Alienated. So that means that they realize that the Light now have a new partner. Miss Martian also found this out when she went into Shimmer's mind before knocking her out and impersonating her. So Queen Bee was delivering kidnapped teenagers to their new partner, and their new partner isn't the Krolataeans because it happened after Alienated. So they don't have all the answers to this mystery, but Nightwing assures Wonder Girl that they still had a successful mission, even though they don't have all the answers yet. And the Young Justice team members that took part in the mission all have a group hug. And then we're back in the cave where Queen Bee is furious, or she's upset that about how the kidnapped teenagers were rescued, because she says that this would have hurt their credibility with their new partner. But she also assures her underlings that they were fortunate enough to have acquired some other kidnapped teenagers that they can still send to their partner. And we see 4 of these captured teenagers, and one of them is Tye. That's how we end the episode. So, if the episode Earthlings could be considered the season 2 episode that Beast Boy had the most prevalent role in for season 2, one could say that Beneath is the episode that Wonder Girl had the most prevalent role in for season 2. And Batgirl, Bumblebee, and Miss Martian also played significant roles in this episode as well. And I did enjoy this episode a lot. I had mentioned before, Beast Boy, Wonder Girl, and Batgirl are characters that I wish had more prevalent roles in season 2, but they didn't really get to play major roles in the grand scheme of season 2. So I did appreciate this episode for giving Wonder Girl and Batgirl in particular a lot of attention and screen time, much like how I liked how Earthlings gave Beast Boy a significant amount of screen time. And we do also have the subplot where Blue Beetle, that's right, Blue Beetle plays an important role in this episode too, because of the subplot where he's trying to find his best friend. And the character of Maurice, he definitely brings to mind certain troubles that can happen at home. So yeah, I think they definitely did well at portraying those particular troubles. And Maurice was a very antagonistic individual. Even though he wasn't responsible for Tye's disappearance, he still was not a good person, to say the least. And at least Blue Beetle did give him his deserved punishment by reporting the pirated games and DVDs to the police, so that Maurice will pay the price for his actions. Now, as for Tye Longshadow, yes, for anyone who might be curious or who may not have known beforehand, Tye Longshadow is actually he's the Injustice equivalent to the character Apache Chief. He was a character that was created for the show Super Friends, and there was a version of him that appeared in the DC animated universe, Justice League Unlimited to be more specific. His counterpart in Justice League Unlimited was called Longshadow, the same last name that Tye has. And Tye and the DC Animated Universe Longshadow, they both share the same voice artist, Greg Rainwater. So, yeah, you'll soon see that Tye Longshadow isn't the only character that's also a reference to a character who originated from Super Friends. You actually did get to see them briefly at the end of the episode, and there was another character actually too. It was Tye and 2 of the characters were references to characters from Super Friends, but the 4th character was actually a character who has appeared in the DC animated universe as well, but also appeared in the comics, the Milestone comics, which are now considered part of the DC comics as I understand it. But we'll talk more about those characters later on. We will find out more about them in a more prevalent role, so we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But overall, yes, I did enjoy this episode, both for the main plot line where we got to see Miss Martian, Wonder Girl, Batgirl, and Bumblebee play a significant role. And I also did like the subplot where Blue Beetle was trying to find his missing friend. And we did see how those 2 plot lines ended up connecting by the end of the episode. So, with that said, we've now discussed episode 31 of Young Justice on this channel. Take care, and until next time.